Everyone, welcome to another episode of Wealthy Minds Decoded. My name is Manesh Bindi.
And I'm Andy Shaw.
So, and we've got our guest director, Pete. Say hello.
We've got our friend...
I'll let him introduce
okay.
and then I'll
You
introduce
can talk
one at
over
a
me.
time. You know, that's how this works.
Hello everybody, I'd just like to introduce Nicola Cairncross that's come up from the sunny south coast to join us today.
Couldn't miss it.
She'll be sitting here helping me abuse these couple of Muppets while we go on, but carry on Manesh.
Fantastic. And we've got our friend Nicola Cairncross here today. Say hi, Nicola.
Hi everyone.
There you go. Right, sorted. So she's going to try and abuse us just like Pete tries to abuse us. And we'll see what happens. So, the first part of what we're talking about today is so important, and the wealthy have just got it absolutely figured out, and they use it every single time. So what are we talking about, Pete?
Today we're going to be talking about singular focus.
Singular focus. So let's just give an opposition here. Singular focus compared to multi-directional, schizophrenic, ADD, headless chicken type of focus, which is what most people go. Wealthy people have a singular vision and everything else fits into that vision, right? And that's what, how do you think that helps them?
Well, first off, it's essential. I had a friend who asked me a while ago, he said, all right, I've narrowed it down to 4 things I'm trying to succeed at. And they were all going off in different directions.
So you looked at him and slapped him, yeah?
Well, I did it a verbal slap as best I could. To give you an example of this, I've always been exceptional at getting a business off the ground. And a few years ago, we were building one business, which was an investment business, and we were building it, and it was going very, very well. It was going a bit slow, and you know, it was getting the right way. It was making a lot of money, so it was going the right way. And then I had this idea for another business, which was a gambling business, and I wanted to do this business because it was a case of I just saw we could do it. Yeah, we could do it. I could see how it could work out. And in 5 weeks, we launched, and we were lead story on 9 o'clock Friday night news. We had loads of, it was amazing what we did in 5 weeks. But prior to that, the Monday before the Friday, we'd gone and seen a PR lady, and she said to me, I don't understand what you're doing here. You're an investment business, and now you're launching a gambling business.
Talk about contradiction.
How is this going the right way? And I thought, what's she talking about? I can do 2 different businesses. But of course, thank you, mate. But of course you can't, because your singular focus, I would have ended up with an investment mindset and a gambling mindset working in the same way. So Monday, we killed the business because it was a case of it was a great success. We launched it on the Friday, great success and that sort of thing. Monday morning, I went, we don't want to do that anymore, because I'd worked out that it was wrong. I shouldn't have done it in the first place, But it was we caught it early enough, so we lost 5 weeks of our lives. But it was a hell of an experience and a very good weekend. But it wasn't. We'd lost focus for a little while because we weren't getting the success as fast as I wanted to in our main business. We put our focus back onto that main business, and within 4 months of that business was making millions. That's singular focus.
And singular focus, a lot of people get this confused. A lot of people think a business is a singular focus, but it's just really not, because your singular focus was creating the brand and the vision around that investment business. The investment business was actually a byproduct of the vision that you had for investing, right? And as I'm going to say, this is going to sound very contradictory, but I want you to really understand what I'm saying. Richard Branson can have 300 businesses because he has a singular focus. Just take that in for a second. The only reason he can have 300 businesses is because he has a singular focus. His singular focus is based on the vision that he wants to create, and the businesses are just byproducts that lead to that vision. That's what allows that super productivity that it takes, and that's why the wealthy just stay there. Whereas what people with a poor mindset do is that they'll think of either they'll make their vision the business, and so if that fails, they're a failure. Whereas to Richard Branson, if you've got 300 businesses and one of them fails, it doesn't really make a difference because he's still achieving his vision. It's just what's the best way. Whereas people with a poor mindset is they'll limit themselves to a particular business, or they'll try and go into 4 different businesses
just in case one doesn't work.
Just in case one doesn't work, and it's just ridiculous.
Guaranteeing that none of them will.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's the problem with not having a singular focus. It really
Now the singular focus, so actually we go a bit deeper on a singular focus. We're looking for, I mean, to give you an example, we're not happy with the way, I wasn't happy with the way success was educated. You know, it wasn't being conveyed the right way because not enough people were being successful. So I wanted to produce an end result where more people created success. And, you know, so I'm working on businesses that end up producing more successful people. So other businesses that come along, as long as they help me with my ultimate aim of producing more successful people, then it's a singular focus. I'm singularly focused on producing more successful people, making it so more of the percentage of people that there are in the world achieve success, because that's going to make a better world. Quite simple. So that's my singular focus. And then anything that fits in and aligns with that, that helps me get to that goal, I can do.
This is a very good way of explaining. People are going to wonder, so how come you're doing your individual businesses and doing Wealthy Minds Decoded and another big project together? How can you do that if you've got a singular focus? The answer is, we've got singular focuses for the vision. The businesses are just byproducts, right? Our businesses and money is a byproduct of whatever vision and whatever vision you want to create and whatever impact you want to create in the world.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, pretty good.
Have we discussed that?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered that. But what I'd like you guys to do next is let's drill down. Let's drill down and actually discuss the benefits of adopting a singular focus.
It's like when you have a singular focus, what you can do is something that would take, for example, right? If somebody starts 4 different businesses, it's going to take them a year to get 4 different businesses off the ground, because they're going to one day work on one, the next day work on the other, the next day work on the other. Whereas if you've got singular focus, you will not only, because of everything that we discussed in previous episodes, attract the right team, attract the right people, create the right masterminds, have wake up in the morning and have solid focus towards one thing. You will also have full energy on one project, which will allow you to get that project up and running, then work on everything else.
You're not going to go back over old ground. The problem is when you're trying to do too many different things and you're jumping from project to project, you lose ground. You know, you do 4, let's say you do 3 weeks work on one, and then you stop and go and do 3 weeks work on another, 3 weeks work on another. By the time you get back to the first one, it's going to take you 2 weeks just to recover to where you were. So you end up not getting anywhere because the people are in a rush to get somewhere. So they're in a rush because they're afraid their project isn't going to work. If you know your project's going to work, if you're absolutely certain, you've already seen the reality of it, that it's going to happen, then all you just keep doing is keep walking in that direction until it happens. You don't change direction. You don't need multiple projects unless the multiple projects help you with your primary singular focused goal. That's it. All you have to do is just keep working towards that one goal, and your primary work is relating to that. We do this because what we can get out of it is it's great fun. We get to have a real laugh, and it helps us get together with our singular focus, which is change. We want different. We want more people to be successful. Pete wants to wave his hand up and down.
Yeah, we've got Nicola here, as we mentioned earlier. She'd like to interject at this point.
Yeah, as a recovering multitasker who saw the light actually in a Mike Phil Same presentation. Do you remember that? It was at World Internet Summit 2006, and he did a fantastic presentation that showed how if you work on one project and it takes a month to get to the point where it's monetized, and then if you work on 4 projects a month, it'll take you a year if you're lucky to get any of them monetized.
You're right. Yeah, that was 2005 or 2006. Yeah,
when Brett broke his arm.
2006. Yeah.
And I sat in the audience, and it was like a bolt of lightning had hit me, and I just realised why multitasking was not only never going to work, it's so stressful. Whereas if you've got your singular focus, you can judge opportunities, you can judge people, you can judge offers. It's just so much less stressful. It is
all about your, let's take my Bug Free Mind project and your goal for life as well. What you've got is you've got different options within that one project of what to do next. But when you go, right, I'm going to do that next, you work on that until it's done. Yep. And then you pick the next part of the project from within that one project and you work on that until it's done. And that's all of those projects build to get you to the end goal, which is all a singular focus. So successful people do this without thinking. without thinking. There's no need to think about it because it's a case
Because
of
they don't doubt that the result will come.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that the ultimate success for huge numbers of book sales will be there when I'm ready for that. I'm not ready for that at the moment because I am getting my optimization dead right. But that ultimate success is inevitable. Yeah, and when that strength of inevitability, it allows me to because it's totally singular focus to get to the end goal. So you keep going until you get there.
I've got another comment too. If you've got several projects on the go, when you hit an obstacle with any one of them, you move off and work on one of the other projects. Whereas if you're singularly focused on one thing, one goal, one
You get
mission,
over it.
you find a way past that obstacle.
correct,
But
yeah.
if you've got something to distract yourself with, you won't do it.
It's like, you go until. And one of the biggest, a quote that I heard which really got my mind focused was, the only reason you don't need a plan B. Having a plan B means you think plan A is not going to work. So why would you do plan A in the first place? Right? If you think it's not going to work, why would you do it?
Okay, all right. I'll take that apart actually because I'm a different sort of person. I have automatically plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G sitting there. They're like a byproduct of my working on plan. Right. Okay. Well, if that doesn't work, I'll go right there and then I'll succeed. Oh, right.
Because
there.
the ultimate, that we're using different words here. Your goal is here.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, plan A and B, is actually the goal, right? So you don't need two different goals.
No.
That's what I'm talking
There's only
about.
one goal. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's
What
just
you're
how you
talking
get there.
about is
Just
the
to
method
make
of
it-
getting there.
Just to make it clear for the audience, guys, what you're actually saying is splitting hairs really, because the goal is the goal, whether or not it's plan A, part 1, part 2,
Yeah, we're just
part
using
3.
different terminologies.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. The focus is on the goal, and however you describe it, the goal is the objective.
Yeah.
Full stop. However you describe it.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And we were just talking about the book, Getting to Plan B, which is actually about the fact that you have your vision, and what you need to do is test your minimum viable iterations of getting to that vision, of your vehicle to get to that vision. And if the first vehicle doesn't work, you swap to the second one as quickly as you can, but you've always
Yes.
got the ultimate goal in mind.
Yes. Plan in mind. Plan. The word. What you guys are meaning by the word plan, I call strategy. It's the same thing. It's just different words. So that happens occasionally.
Yours is a posher word.
Yes.
It's strategy is based in. It's an Indian word, isn't it?
I think the whole English language is origined from India at
Yeah.
some point.
I think you're. I think you're absolutely correct, Manesh.
Yeah.
Is it time for gin and tonic?
Right. I think we've. Yeah. We've done?
Yeah.
Right. Fantastic. What are we talking about in the case
Okay,
study?
well let's move on now. Right now, you very very poorly outlined the benefits. Now let's move over to the disadvantages. Okay, so can we look at that for a moment? Let's see what exactly is a result of having poor focus, bad focus in progress.
Is he just added in a new section, or is
He has
talking
added
about,
in a new section, but
Are we talking about the case
No,
study?
it's still there. It was there.
it was there, was
No.
it?
The case study, right? Okay.
No.
Cool. Sorry, the note writer has got it wrong again. Right. Okay. This is a case study of a person who's got it totally wrong, who's got the singular focus element, made their focus and their vision on each individual business rather than making the vision a vision and having businesses to support that vision. So, and
Trying to do 3 or 4 projects, isn't it?
it's crazy,
Yeah.
right? And the point is that he'll come and try and help me and Andy with our businesses, and then set up another business in another whole different industry, and then we go back and say 3 months later, so what happened? I thought you were going to help us and try and create something here. No, I got focused doing this, and then he'll come back 3 months later and go, oh no, I got focused doing something else, so that didn't happen, etc., etc., etc. And this is what creates that sort of hamster wheel effect.
It's a fear that it's not going to work,
Yeah.
and so
I remember that.
yeah. So in other words, I've tried this for 3 months. It hasn't produced a result. Best I quit now while I'm behind and try something else. Right? And so the problem is that then that 3 months of work, which is, people. I can't remember what it said now. It's the Acres of Diamonds story. They're digging away, and they give up. Right? And they were within feet of the diamonds, or the gold, whatever it was. But that's the point. You go and do all of this work. success relies on figuring out what you want first, right, and then keeping going until you get there.
Yeah.
Until you get there, there is nothing more. That's it. Steve Jobs.
If you give up.
Yeah, that is the only failure. Is to give up, and it's a case of if you hadn't figured out what your goal was correctly in the first place, then they're flip-flopping, they're going to another thing, and it's all down to they haven't figured out what they wanted in the first place.
They think that they want the business.
Yeah,
right.
But
the business and money are byproducts of your vision, and people get this totally screwed up because they go to seminars and things like that, and they get sold a dream of a lifestyle that's dependent on a certain business happening, whereas the lifestyle should be your ultimate goal, or whatever you want. And then the businesses slot into place for that.
Well, there were some stats that because I've got I'm speaking at a business startup show very, very shortly, and I was going to talk about how many businesses fail. And did you know that 70% of all businesses fail within the first 10 years? That's VAT. That doesn't include all the small startup ones that didn't even make it to VAT stage. We'll probably take that well past 90%. But 70% fail within 10 years, but there is almost no drop off in the failure rate from 2 years to 10 years. In other words, if you've been in business 9.5 years, you're just as likely to fail, almost just as likely to fail as if you'd been in business 2 years. And this is because people haven't got the focus right in their business. They're going through the motions of it. Instead of it, the business, they're thinking it's the business, whereas it's not. They've got to have their vision of what it's going to produce for them.
They're making it about themselves within the first 10 years because they haven't experienced all the cycles. So what they do is they make it about themselves, and they get excited over achieving a certain level of success, which takes their focus off the business. Therefore, it goes into a downtrend. Then they go back onto the business, which goes into an uptrend. Therefore, for the first 10 years, until you understand that the business needs its own focus, excitement comes second, you got the same likelihood of failure. That's my analysis on that.
Okay.
Can we just expand on that a little bit? As far as focus is concerned, we've established that it is paramount as long as you move in the direction you intend to. Can you give us some tools, Andy, how people can sort of self-train to improve their own focus?
It is about discovering what you love in life.
I was just about to say it's the same thing.
It's right.
What do you want?
What do you want?
Detail your vision. Detail.
I look at everything I do in life. When I decided to do a Bug Free Mind, I was very, very close to going into a business Nicola's now in, which was going to be selling my marketing skills, or rather selling my knowledge of marketing and paying outsourcers to do the actual skills to local businesses and taking them, from a 800,000 turnover to 1.8 million, that sort of thing. And I was going to get paid quite a lot of money to do it. And I was very close to going into it. Very close to instantly making it successful. And I realised that the first person said no, and on the way home I realised how grateful I was that he'd said no, because if he'd said yes, I'd have done that business, because I'd have got paid a lot of money to do it, and I'd have ended up building a business again because I could build the business, not because I should build it, not because it gave me what I wanted from life. That was just giving me money. Right? And I would have got bored with that within a couple of years. I'd have written a book on it. I'd have become the best-selling author in the UK on that particular thing. I knew how to do it, but that wasn't it. That wasn't my passion. And then when I sat down, I went, right, okay. I said to Alison, I'm going to take 3 months off, and I'm going to think about what I want to do in my life. And I sat there, and I discovered that what I wanted out of life was I loved talking about mindset. I loved pulling apart how things worked and putting it into a way and making success simple for everybody, making it so that they could achieve success too, because there weren't enough of us. There weren't enough successful people. So I thought, well, if I help people become successful, then they're going to go out and create success, and then my great-grandchildren are going to have a world where there's a lot more successful people. So it's going to be a much better place than the way the world is going, which is downwards. So I thought, if I do that, that's a great use of my time, and I'll still love talking about this stuff when I'm 80 years old. I'll still love writing about it when I'm 80 years old. And I thought, well, that's a lot better than all of the businesses I've been in. Because even when I was really good at them, I got bored with them in 5 minutes flat. Whereas now, there's no boredom, because this is what I do in my spare time. This is what my hobbies are. My business is my hobbies. So I've found my hobby, and I was able to look at it and go, right, how can I monetize this and make it produce the money I need it to produce for me to make it worthwhile of my time to do it? Because money has to come too, as far as I'm concerned, because to not make money for me would be like
stupidity.
That's a waste of my life. So that has to happen.
Because we've had this chat a lot of times, and it's because the way we look at money is a spiritual byproduct of following a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Being successful at what you do, what you've chosen to do.
And I would just like to say that my passion is helping, not necessarily local businesses, but my passion is helping businesses market themselves better online. That was when I had the Money Gym.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I loved more than anything else.
It was your passion.
Was the internet marketing side of it. And I love being able to bring those skills to a business that hasn't got a clue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to do what you love.
Yeah.
And when you're doing what you love, it's not work.
What I'd be doing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you do it, if you took money off the table and you do it anyway, then you're now getting close to your primary goal. So it's really a case of figuring out what you get passion, what you do, regardless of whether you're being paid for it.
So what you're basically saying is you need to find your dream, pursue your dream, monetize what in fact you want to do with the rest of your life, give value so in return it can generate an income for you, and that in its own right will generate all the focus you're ever going to need.
Yeah.
You're following your dream.
If you're doing something you're passionate about and you can't wait to get out of bed in the morning and do it, it greatly helps with focus, doesn't it? But you do have to believe it's possible to succeed for you. And that's possibly the biggest hump a lot of people have to get over, isn't it? That initial belief that they can succeed.
That's a mindset tool. So you've got to go into the future, right? Because so the belief issue. Well, if you can conceive it, then it's possible, right? So now it's just a case of going into it and looking at it and feeling the future. Go and experience in the future. Take your mind can travel to the future. It can travel to the past. If I said to you, do you remember the holiday you went on with your parents when you were 9 years old to Cornwall? You're there in a fraction of a second. Well, it's the same going forward. You can do exactly the same thing. So if you go forward and you experience, what it will be like, what it will smell like, what it will taste like, where you'll be, and you experience all of that, all of a sudden something magical happens and it becomes real. And then all of a sudden there is no need to believe anymore. It's now a you've turned that possibility into a probability.
Wayne Dyer says this is a really good quote. He says, contemplate yourself in the conditions you wish to manifest.
I'm just reading Wishes Fulfilled as we speak.
Love that book, right? If we talked a few episodes ago about mastermind and peer group, actually, why would you want a peer group who can't even contemplate you in the position, in the vision that you see yourself in? This actually happens before you cultivate that peer group. Can you contemplate yourself in the vision that you want to create? And when you can do that, then you start opening yourself up.
I've got a brilliant quote written in my journal that I'm carrying forward page to page from Wayne Dyer's video that I watched recently, and it was so I could dig it out, but it's something along the lines of you can only succeed at something that you have the expectation of yourself.
Yeah, expect yourself.
We'll be covering expectations.
I actually covered that same quote a few episodes back.
Yeah, brilliant. It jumped right off the video at me. I carry it forward now in my journal, so it's the first thing I see.
Expect of yourself what you wish to manifest, or something along those lines.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool. Right, so I think that was a good show. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Make sure you hit the website, wealthymindsdecoded.com. Find the blog post in regards to the show. Leave your comments. Give us some feedback. Ask some questions. If you want us to case study you for something that you're going through that we can help you with, make sure you leave it there. You don't need to give us your full name or anything. You can just leave it anonymous. So, thank you very much for watching. And,
we'll see you next
thank
one.
you guys.
I'd like to thank Nicola for attending with us this week, and hopefully she'll come back and sit in with us again soon.
I think you're going to have to work hard to get rid of me now.
Take care, guys.
Bye from us.
See you soon. Bye-bye.